show on Stock Market TV. Spencer Israel, JC Parets, Steve Strazza with you. We got Phil Pearlman on the show today. We're all in a good mood because everybody, well, almost everybody, is making money. Let's talk about it and run my intro bumper. Where are we at?
Oh, Spencer Israel. Everybody's making money if they own assets, right?
So right. Almost everybody. Yeah.
And that's really the whole thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. You know, it seems as though everybody's making money because everybody we talk to, including everybody at our firm, obviously the things we've been talking about here, the things we own are all making new highs. So we're all making money. But when you look at positioning, when you look at the amount of exposure out there from, you know, hedge funds, individual investors, a lot of people are not making money. One of the things that because they're not in it, you know, they're too busy bragging about their 4.5% yield in their cash. And, you know, it's not so much a hindsight. I mean, in hindsight, obviously, putting your money in 4.5% yield couldn't have been a worse move. Bragging about it makes you look stupid, but it's not a hindsight thing, Spencer. We were talking about it last summer, how we needed to be buying stocks, not putting it in this shitty yield, right? 4.5% in theory seems like a good idea, but when you add this little thing that we like to call opportunity cost, if you're only getting 4.5%, I mean, that must suck.
As always, maybe with the exception of like, you know, the second half of 2020, there are things working and there are things not working, right? And that's the way it's always going to be.
What's not working?
China.
It's not working.
No, it's not working. Come on.
What?
It's not working. It like what?
Not working.
I wouldn't say it's working is my point. At least it's underperforming everything else. That's one of my point, right?
That's probably right. That's probably right.
Right. That was off the top of my head. I'm sure there are other markets. There are always other markets, right?
No, that's probably right. There are, to your point, there are a few things not working, but you really gotta dig down to find things that are not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But I mean, look, I was just telling you last night. I was on Twitter, and usually on Sunday night, Twitter is like my Twitter, because obviously it's not a representation, not the same as yours, but mine is usually like 30% Sunday Night Football, 30% random stuff, and like 30% sort of look at like market stuff from like the past week, right? And last night it was like 90% Bitcoin and gold futures, right? It was wild. It was wild. So
yeah, Sunday night action. The chatter of the markets on Sunday nights are back. I'm old enough to remember back in the great financial crisis days, Sunday nights were very exciting. We've had other times too. I think it was it like the Thanksgiving holidays of 2012, if I recall, or was it 2011? I remember it was pretty wild times on Sundays. Hey, Mr. Strazza. How you doing, my friend?
What up, Steve?
Doing all right. You hear me okay?
Yes, we got you.
All right.
Is everybody making money or only the people that own risk assets?
Well, I overheard what you guys are saying. We are officially back in that part of the cycle where I'm waking up in the middle of the night, checking crypto markets, and then staying up, having a crypto charting session, and then I'm very tired on a Monday morning. So we're there, I think.
Oh man. Oh gosh.
One thing I wanted to fix. Strazza, fix your mic. Your mic's rubbing up against something. One thing that I wanted to mention here is that everybody is now profitable in Bitcoin. Everybody. So you look at the short-term realized price, you look at the long-term realized price, You look at 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, all below current levels. So when you talk about how people, some people are like, oh, um, crypto investors are still underwater or something like that, or people in crypto are still losing money. We actually know that that's not true, right? It's actually the opposite. There isn't anybody, there's no group in Bitcoin that is not making money. The only people not making money in Bitcoin are the people who don't own it, obviously. But that's it. Those are the only people not making money in Bitcoin. Everybody else is profitable. Everybody, all time.
Yeah. You're talking about the long-term holder cost basis?
And short term.
Yeah.
And 1 year, and 2 year, and 3 year.
A lot of big VWAPs, across different exchanges also being reclaimed, with the rallies of the past few weeks.
Yeah. And also, one thing that I wanted to mention is that look at the market caps of some of these cryptocurrencies. Just take a look at some of these market caps. They continue, Dogecoin, 12.5 billion. These are not nothing. It's not nothing at all. So it's really, really. Why don't we hit it, Spencer?
All right. Where's my bumper?
All right. So I'm honestly, I'm gonna start boring, because I think that it's going unnoticed because gold's making new all-time highs, Bitcoin's making new highs, and the Dow just closed at a new all-time high on a total return basis. Everybody's making money and everybody's talking about those things, which is fine. Why don't you show the first chart there, which I think really tells a fascinating story. You know, when things are not good, when people are not making so much money, when people are when asset prices are making new lows, all those things, market breadth is weak, all those things. European banks are usually some of the worst assets, right? European banks are usually hovering near lows. European financials are making new 52-week highs again, right? For I believe the third week in a row. European financials, right? So it's not like it's seven stocks. It's not like it's only the US. European financials, Spencer. When you hear European financials, what do you think?
I can only probably name 7 stocks. So
You can only name 7 stocks in total, or in Europe?
No, 7 European financial stocks.
Do they have that many?
I don't know. You just said, well, oh, you're referring to the broader market, that it wasn't just 7. I'm looking up this index right now because I want to see the top. Or I want to see the constituents here.
HSBC, Allianz,
No,
UBS, Zurich
yeah,
Insurance, BNP
Deutsche,
Paribas, Banco
Deutsche Bank.
Santander,
Sure,
AXA, ING. You know them all.
sure.
Kind
That was like
a big deal.
that was like 6. Yeah. So, but no, your point was about the broader market. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, HSBC is a $120 billion company, right?
Right.
Um,
Is that like 10 Dogecoins?
That is approximately 10 Dogecoins. Hey, who's the math major? Can you throw up slide 4? I think this tells an interesting story. So, you know how they tell you that these technology stocks are too big? They're too big, Spencer, right? Unsustainable, right, Strazza? Unsustainable, these tech stocks. Can you believe the audacity of Apple and Microsoft to be bigger than the entire Russell 2000? The audacity of those companies. Can you believe it?
I think that's how it's supposed to work. It's designed that way, right?
The big get bigger, the rich get richer, right? You're seeing it. And I understand that bothers a lot of people. I mean, for me, I own risk assets. I am wealthier today than I was last week or last month or 2 months ago or 3 months ago. So I'm okay by it. But what you're seeing is that the investors that have the ability to put money to work and are invested are doing very, very well. And you're seeing the people that are not invested, the people who don't have money to own risk assets, things for them are getting more and more expensive. So I could feel the pain out there. You see it. And not to be insensitive, but I would argue that that actually is incredibly constructive and a driver for higher prices for risk assets. And if you own risk assets, that is a very good thing. And we obviously here have the ability to own risk assets. So this investing is a selfish endeavor. That's what this is about. So for me and my family, being long has been the best decision, and myself and other investors are being rewarded for those decisions. Those are the types of things that you see in bull markets. Something that gets forgotten a lot. And people are like, oh, JC, master of the obvious over here. Captain Obvious, they call me. In bull markets, investors are rewarded for being long stocks. Investors are rewarded for being long risk assets. That is a key characteristic of bull markets. That's what's happening here. Right? And I know it's Captain Obvious, thanks, JC. But seriously, take a step back and think about that. Are investors not being rewarded for being long risk assets? Are investors not long risk assets being penalized for not being long risk assets? Those are characteristics of bull markets. Am I just being an asshole and being Captain Obvious? Or do you think there's something to that? You're on mute, Strazza.
So people make money in bull markets, and you're saying that's just bullish. That's just another bullish data point.
That investors are being rewarded for owning stocks. Investors are being rewarded for owning cryptocurrencies. Those are things that happen in bull markets.
Yeah, prices go up.
Yeah. Do you think that that is too obvious and I'm just being obnoxious, or do you think it's important to reiterate that and remind people of that fact?
A little bit of both, probably.
A little bit of both. That's fair. Yeah, right? Probably both. Yeah, that's good. No,
I think it'd be more effective to look. Everyone and their mother probably knows or assumes that tech is going up when the market's going up, right? So it'd be more effective to look at the non-tech parts of the market going up.
Can we just
you mean like consumer discretionary absolutely ripping?
Sure. I mean, that's tech-ish, but yeah, but
what's tech about consumer discretionary?
I said it's tech-ish, right?
Is it? I mean, what is tech-ish about consumer discretionary?
I should say it's growth-ish. I don't know, but okay,
Amazon. Say Amazon. That's your answer.
All right,
Amazon.
so equally weighted. Take out the Amazon effect. Is it still tech-ish?
Okay, yeah, but I'm not trying to argue. Yeah, I'm just trying to. But yes, that's what I was saying. So discretionary, good example, right?
Guys, hold on. You're spreading misinformation again when you're breaking the news here. What are you talking about? This Hut merger?
No, yeah, they're doing some kind of a merger this morning with U.S. Data Mining Corporation, and as part of that, they wiped off any secondary offerings that they were doing. So
I don't see anything about any merger. There was a 5-for-1 reverse split. The stock.
I'm looking at an 8K from Friday after the close that said they're doing a merger with this U.S. Data Mining Corporation.
This is because of a story stock and one of the crypto miners that you want to stay away from. They're doing all this funny business, reverse splitting their stock.
You've been hating on Hut. What's your beef with Hut?
Dude, with these 8Ks on Friday afternoons,
pretty shady.
Went into like blockchain stuff. Now they don't just do crypto; they also do blockchain. Like, pick one.
Right. Also, as a general rule of thumb, anytime you see a stock go from 2 to 14, decent guess it's a reverse split. Just decent chance of that happening, right?
78K. I don't see anything about any merger. I see a 5-for-1, and that's
I disagree with Strazza. I don't think you should stay away from it.
I would run away from this one.
I think that if you see an opportunity, you see the risk reward in a high beta crypto miner. When crypto miners are ripping, I think that there's opportunity there. Whether it's a fraud or not, who gives a shit? I hope it is. What does it matter?
Stick with Riot and Mara is all I'm kind of saying.
I disagree with Strazza. I respectfully disagree. And by the way, Strazza's you've been on point. You know, I hate to give you more credit. Your head's big enough. but you have been pounding the table on Coinbase. You've been pounding the table. Good for you. We're all making money, because, in partly because of you, right? So thank you for that. I think you're wrong on this. I think there's opportunity in HUT. I would not run away. And by the way, if it is a scam, you could probably make a lot more money than if it's not a scam.
And I'm not saying it is a scam, right? I'm just saying we have a ton of options. We have plenty of options to buy crypto miners rather than, listen, there's 8 different crypto miners you could buy. I'm just saying don't buy the one that's changing its names, dropping Friday 8Ks, telling you it's doing blockchain things on top of its crypto mining. Just,
Throw up slide 7 here.
Yeah, the Friday 8Ks are fun.
Throw up slide 7.
And it's getting to the point, stock market, Mike, where that's no longer true. Like that was true most of this year, right? Quality over risk. We're seeing a big shift in those relative trends just since the October lows. Would you agree with that, JC? Like those animal spirits are waking up and you're seeing investors move way out on the risk spectrum really fast these past few weeks.
It's
this chart.
I think about this a lot, obviously, because I have a lot of exposure, an irresponsible amount of exposure to some of this stuff. This summer, these miners were ripping and Bitcoin wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And then the miners all collapsed, and then Bitcoin started ripping, started making new 52-week highs, and the miners didn't participate. And now the miners are participating and Bitcoin's participating. So I'm okay saying I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason, I don't know. It's fascinating to me. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, we're all making money, so no one's complaining about it, but it's tough to identify what the story is. Yeah.
So the story goes, and again, I don't know either. We're not going to ever come on here and claim to be experts in crypto mining.
I'm from it. I don't know anything about this stuff.
So the story goes, there's a break-even point there that was much higher than crypto prices just 2 weeks ago, and now Bitcoin prices are getting closer to a place where these miners can not just break even, but be very profitable. And you're going to see the stocks price it in very quickly. That's what our smart friends tell us.
Can we throw up slide 4? Because I think this is really important. Are you, and I'm not asking you, Strazza, because I know the answer. Are you, the general you, the other Lebowski, the millionaire, are you betting that the one on the bottom is not going to follow the one on the top? Valid question.
It's a rhetorical question for sure.
Yeah, I'm asking the other Lebowskis. Yeah. I'm not asking you. Sure. I know your answer.
Okay.
Right, but just kind of generally speaking, just like philosophically, just thinking through this, the S&P 500 is 28.7% technology, not tech-ish.
Yeah,
actual tech.
The same stock,
right, Spencer?
Right.
Totally, and it's also just you can overlay a chart of XLK with the German DAX, and I think say the same thing.
Ooh.
So my point is, you could even remove that and make it more of a point.
People do that? Are you allowed to do that?
I've done that.
Wow.
And then you can make
You're
it
really living on the edge
of days. Hey, leaders lead. The leaders are going to be the first to make those new highs, right? And then you see the rest of the market follow, and that would just speak to this. It's the same way we come on here and say almost every day, hey, this base hasn't completed yet, but the best stocks have already completed bases and gone on to hit 2 price targets. Right, so we think these bases are going to complete. We think this index is also going to make new highs. The patterns tend to follow each other. Some just take a little longer than others. We call those laggards.
Can we talk about how the German DAX just had its second highest weekly close in history?
I got the DAX is on my mind this morning.
Listen, if Strazza is talking about the DAX, what part of the cycle is that?
But the point is that these charts look the same.
As soon as Howard Lindzen starts talking about the DAX, that's when you sell it. Can you pull up slide 2 there, Spencer? New slide 2, the new one.
How about some of those daily candles from Friday? I got one.
Look at that. second highest weekly close in the history of the German DAX. Going back all the way back, World War II and, birth of Christ and all that stuff. German DAX has only closed a week higher one other time. How about that?
Obnoxious arcs, huh?
Are those obnoxious?
Wow.
What, should I pinch the y-axis a little?
No, they're good. Yeah,
Listen,
look, this is
if you're not pinching your y-axis, I don't know what you're thinking.
JC, what's the most important country index? You can't pick a diversified. So what would be the most important international stock market, I guess?
Outside of America, obviously.
Yeah.
Germany, I think. German DAX. Nikkei after that?
Yeah, I would say Germany too. I think you would want to pick something in Europe, and it would have to be Germany. Yeah.
And it would be Germany.
Not
Greece.
Well, FTSE's
not
FTSE, the diversified one, disqualified.
The Zloty, the Polish Zloty had it right all along, Spencer. If you were just watching the Zloty, you'd be making money.
What's theirs? Is it the Helsinki? What's the Poland exchange? Warsaw.
No, that's come on,
man. That's Finland.
What's Helsinki?
The Warsaw.
Helsinki is the capital.
The Warsaw 20.
I got a chart. Let's do this Russell 2000.
Right.
No, follow up from last week. Really.
Hey now.
Right, we talked about this. You don't have to overcomplicate it. We had a corrective action beneath the surface. Most stocks have been correcting since November 14th. We looked at this coil. We zoomed out a little bit, just to the left of the chart here. You see the base off of those October lows, so you know that the short-term trend is higher. Say, okay, this coil should resolve higher in the direction of the underlying trend. And then we had to ask ourselves, how about the ones that didn't correct? How about the ones that look like Uber and have been up every single day, or XLK or software that keep going up? Are they going to start falling if this coil resolves higher? We got our answer on Friday in a huge way. Call this a very decisive resolution, if you will, right? And then go look at the leaders today. They're not falling. In fact, we could go right to Uber right now. Up 5% this morning?
I mean, this thing this has been the trade that I don't know if it's the best trade we put on all year, because that Tesla and Meta in the first half of the year was pretty spectacular, but this Uber has been a monster.
Well, it's unfair, right? The best trades are always going to be options trades because they're leveraged.
But even if you're looking at the common, I mean, that even if you didn't own the options in that Meta or the Tesla trade in the first half of the year, even if you just had the common, those are hell of a trades, man.
100%. The point about Uber is that this is not the time to be aggressive. Do we have the chart? The time to be aggressive was when this base was completing. We were buying that reversal pattern. That was 2 targets ago, right? And now we're running in to a shelf of old highs. This is a crucial overhead supply level. This trade probably gets harder here. You probably see some backing and filling. I think, as somebody who's loved Uber stock and has owned it all year and since last year, I think this is a great news event to sell into, depending on your time frame. If you've been there since the reversal,
what's the news? They're adding it to the S&P 500 finally.
Adding it to the S&P.
We've been waiting for that. Everybody knew about, and the stock's still up 5-6% anyway. Like, I think this is a beautiful thing to sell into. I'm not saying that I don't continue to like Uber longer term once it clears those highs, but this is a tough zone it needs to work through now. Look at where the stock has come from, JC. Is that fair to say? Nice place to feed the ducks here on the heels of this news.
It depends on what listen, I wouldn't necessarily sell the stock because of the news. I would sell the stock because it has hit your target.
It's hitting our target, to be clear. It will
fine. No,
I'm target today. Yeah.
That I'm aware of, but I'm saying that's more the reason to sell the stock, not because of a news announcement.
Yeah, fine. Fair.
I think it's convenient, to your point, that it's hitting our target as this announcement that everybody has clearly seen coming is made. Yeah. And you would probably speak to this better than me, but what sort of real impact do you think a stock has for a stock being added to the S&P 500? Do you really think this has like a really powerful tailwind, or not really?
creates long-term demand for the asset.
You know what? It probably wouldn't be that hard to really answer this question with some data, right? Because
well, no,
you
because
can see there aren't that many of these a year, right? I mean, how many stocks get replaced or get swapped out in the S&P 500 every year? A handful, right?
Yeah, like if you do the math on the performance of the ones that are added versus the ones kicked out, I'm gonna venture to say you might even get better performance from the ones getting kicked out. I don't know. I haven't done the work. I haven't done the
I don't
data.
know.
No way, you're saying?
no way.
Over what time horizon? 1 year later. 1 year later, the stock's getting kicked out versus, because we know in the Dow, we know that the ones getting kicked out do better than the ones added. So
Dow's different though.
Yeah, it's a little different. Yeah.
Kicked out of the S&P 500, you probably went from being profitable to unprofitable, right? You broke some of their rules.
But you don't have to be profitable.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. But there are like there are requirements,
Follow
right?
the filters.
Yeah,
I understand this isn't NOM. There are rules, but it's not about profitability. Amazon wouldn't have been in it.
There are profitability filters.
Could just be a market cap question.
Yeah, those tech stocks might have broken those rules. I don't know.
Well, a market cap is part of the requirement. Like they're not going to add a $2 billion company. So yes.
Right.
Like, okay, look at the stocks that just got kicked out. Solar Edge, Sealed Air, and Alaska Airlines. Not charts you're running out to buy.
Alaska has a headline of its own this morning, unrelated to
double whammy
to the double whammy for
has this merger been talked about like my whole life? This is not is it these two kind of
I don't know. Wait, maybe you're thinking of JetBlue and Spirit, which is supposed to be that case is before a judge right now. It's supposed to be closing arguments, I think, right around now or this week, or maybe it was last week. But this Hawaiian Airlines Alaska deal, you don't often see mergers with or acquisitions with such a high premium, right? So Alaska's paying $18 a share in cash for Hawaiian Airlines.
Yeah.
What did Hawaiian close at on Friday? $5. So quite a premium there. It kind of reminded me of the of the Microsoft LinkedIn deal, which was a 50% premium, and this is a what 300% premium for Hawaiian Airlines.
By the way, can I just add something? I really love that Spencer's bringing out the news here. It's something that we're going to try to do more of here. Talk about some of the breaking stuff that's going on throughout the day. I find it really interesting. Also, it gives us a reason to look at individual stocks and individual names that we might not otherwise be looking at, right? So as much as Spencer might care about what the actual news is,
I do.
For us, we're interested in the equities themselves. So I appreciate that, Spencer. Shout out, Spencer Israel.
Appreciate it. So anyway, Hawaiian Airlines, 18 is your bogey, and you can see the market have some doubt here because we're trading at $13.50 here. So and that's about where it looks like it's going to stay until we get more clarity on whether the deal will go through or not. But Alaska Airlines, tough blow. You're getting kicked out of the world's biggest index. B, you're spending almost $2 billion, which
What do you mean the world's biggest index? What does that mean?
Most important index is most important index.
The S&P 500 is the most important index?
Yeah.
All right. I didn't mean for this to get out. I did not mean to trigger a thing here. I was just making a comment. Let's move on to that.
I think you're trying to trigger a thing.
But let's pretend I didn't say that.
Also, just on this news, like first thing that stands out to me, this is a micro cap. Like, this is not even news. These airlines companies have been so bad for so long. Hawaiian Air is $230 million company. Like nothing.
I didn't realize it was that small. The airline industry is such an interesting industry to me because
stay away.
It is a necessity. We literally need it, and yet the economics of it are so bad that like it's It's such an oxymoron. We
They're
need
bad.
them.
They're just bad companies. It's a
We
bad
need
experience.
we need them to function as a society.
Even if you're flying first class in a nice airline, the experience isn't very good. They're just shitty companies, shitty service,
That's the
shitty
bigger point.
stocks.
That's the more important point, though. The experience is terrible. The product is very poor, and they still can't make money. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's not a future I would be very excited about.
if I told you higher level, here's a technology airlines that we need to function as a society, you would say, "Oh, I'm interested." If we need it to function, if they're basically guaranteed to get bailed out every single time one of them goes bankrupt, right? Most of them, at least the big ones. Then you would say, "Oh, how bad could it be?" Well, pretty bad actually.
Is there a world where they make these airlines operators like public utilities?
I don't know.
Or more regulated entities?
I don't know. Right? I don't know. Hey, it's 9:02. I lost track of time. Let's bring on Mr. Phil Pearlman.
Please.
Pearls.
Yo, Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
What's up, fellas? This show is great. Yes. I got pumped just seeing all those guys in that intro. Seeing Jay Wood and Brian Shanoni and Brian Lund, and I'm just like, this show is great. Yeah.
It's only because we have the coolest friends like yourself who
That does help. That does help. That does help.
Makes it really easy.
Great people.
They're calling it the best morning show in finance, Pearlman. I don't know if you heard.
It is the best show. It is the best morning show in finance, and it has the best people, and it has the best guests. I completely agree with that. I will say this. I have the solution to the airlines. Yeah. I have the solution to the airlines. Here's the thing.
Don't fly.
Don't fly. Travel less. If you're just a week in a wreck, don't travel. And then raise the prices, and only rich people fly. And the experience is incredible. And then the airlines make money. And then people who shouldn't be traveling so much and wearing themselves down and exhausting themselves can invest in their life at home, instead of spending, $700 to travel and sit like this and be exhausted. Go out and get yourself a massage and get yourself, a membership to a gym and take care of yourself at home.
Pearl Dog, as much
flowers,
as I love you.
Get some plants in the house.
Pearl Dog, I love
that's
you.
A take.
That's
a take.
I love Pearlman more than anything in this world, but man, are you wrong as shit on this one, bro.
That's a take.
You are so full of shit.
This is a good conversation.
Don't listen. Get on a plane. Go travel. Go learn from other cultures. Go learn from other people. Even if you can't afford it, you're going to regret not going. I'll take the other side of that all day long, Pearl Dog. All day.
Is that the right advice for everyone, though?
No.
Make your home a place you love to be. Make your home a place you love to be.
Dead wrong.
And take advantage of these great tools that we have now with this thing called the internet, where you can have your office everywhere. This is my office, by the way. My office right here. I don't need to be anywhere. I could be in a call with anybody in any place, anytime, whatever. Communicate real time. I don't need to go anywhere.
And it's not
I'm
about
go, you know what? I'm going to go later today. I'm going to go for a hike up the street a minute from where I live, literally 1 minute. Just go for a hike. It's going to be great.
And you're making it sound like
no jet lag, no cha-chas.
You're making it sound like if you don't travel, then you're like automatically a hermit. No, it doesn't have to be that way. You call your friends, talk to your friends, you hang out with people. You don't have to be constantly jet setting around the world.
That's right.
You don't have to constantly be doing that, but you should. And you should go out of your way to.
Okay, so here's why I'm here today, guys. Here's why I'm here. Because 2024 is coming up and I have a prediction.
Ooh.
Here's my prediction for 2024. You're either going to get your shit together or you're not going to get your shit together. That's my prediction. Like, you either get your shit together, all the things you've been talking about, all the things you've been saying. If you already have your shit together, it's fantastic. Then you just keep having your shit together. You just keep improving.
What if you have some of your shit together and not the other shit?
It's just little things. You just tweak little things. You just get better. We all have within us this incredible growth instinct, this ability, this desire to grow and improve and get better. And we just got to let that freak out, baby, because that's the shit right there.
I like what you're saying here. I know you do a lot of work on this. You probably have a lot to say about it. The January effect is very much here, right? Where I think come the new year, everybody makes these promises to themselves and these big resolutions, and I'm going to start being healthy and doing this and doing that right. But December tends to be a time, especially with the holidays. I think it probably really starts in Thanksgiving, where do you see people who go and do big resolutions come January kind of get the fuckets through November and December on the holidays? Because kind of like, oh, I'm going to start eating healthy in January 1st. So I'm just going to, have 4 plates at Thanksgiving today because don't worry, the turn of the year is coming up and then I'm going to be healthy. And is that...
Hey, Sam Biggles, I'm not eating lunch today, pal.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, Pearlman doesn't have
I'm not
lunch,
having
man.
any lunch, pal.
You must be new here, bro.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's exactly right. People who do that don't have their mind in the right place. They're trying to do everything by willpower. They're trying to white knuckle. They're like, okay, you know what? It's like that song Jane Says by the Jane's Addiction. I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to quit tomorrow. Total bullshit. Like, you just want to be ready to go. So if you're going to like make a January thing, hey, I'm going to improve this part of me, or I'm going to get myself in shape finally. What you really want to do is you want to start now. Right? You want to start preparing. You want to start getting ready to go now in December. You don't want to go out and party your ass off December 31st, because guess what? January 1st, the first day of the next year that you're supposed to be improving, you're going to be feeling terrible. So you want to start now. You want to start tapering right now. You want to start getting yourself together now. I know a lot of people go through it. Obesity is through the roof. High blood pressure is through the roof. Fatty liver disease is through the roof. Suicide is making an all-time high. Depression is crazy. Kids have it. Adults have it. And that's why I feel like the work, you know what? I've never been a salesman in my whole life. I was a head of marketing at a large bank, CMO at a large bank, hated it, right? Great bank, but hated the work because I wasn't selling something that I believed in, right? CDs, whatever. You need them, but not my thing. But now I feel this way. I'm like pumped and amped to do this because I feel great about what I'm doing. And I want to just help people out. I want other people to get healthy. And I want other people to be great role models for their kids. And I want other people to live for a long time and be able to stay independent and be successful in what they do today and be healthy tomorrow.
What are some easy things? I remember when we first started talking each week and working on different things, you gave me a list of like 4 or 5 things. It was so short and sweet. And none of it was like take Ozempic, right? It's just really simple, kind of like no-brainer things to do, like move your body, walk a little bit. What would be like that quick cheat sheet that you would give to people that are just starting out, want to have a new, healthier lifestyle?
Begin taking a walk in the morning is a great place to start. It's a gateway drug. You start feeling better. You get outside in the morning. You start calibrating your circadian rhythm with the sun in the morning sun, and you begin moving your body, getting the blood flow, feeling the nature, and that becomes a gateway to the next thing, which could be whatever it is. I mean, for some people it might be jogging. For some people it might be grilling and eating steaks. For some people it might be swimming. For some people it might be tennis. For some people it might be getting their sleep game together because they haven't been sleeping. I used to not sleep well my whole life. Now I sleep better than I ever have. And it's crazy, and that came as a progression of many things, not just overnight. So
diet and exercise can actually contribute to better.
It's the exact same thing as compounding interest. The exact same thing. That compounding interest curve starts very, very flat. And then the slope, the increase in the slope accelerates over time as you've been investing and dollar cost averaging over a long period of time. Then all of a sudden you're up here and you're crushing it and you feel great and you look better and you have more self-confidence and your prospects for living longer and staying healthier for longer also improve it.
Pearl Dog.
What's up, bro?
When I wake up in the morning, I've been going to bed really early these days. And when I wake up in the morning,
You're
it's
cranky.
like,
Go run a marathon, Biggles. 2024, baby. I'll meet you up in Rhinebeck for the half marathon in October, the fall foliage. I'll meet you there, bro. We'll go run it. We'll go run
Roman,
it,
I have a
and then
question.
we'll go out for a steak and eggs. Sorry,
I have a
Jason.
question. When I wake up in the morning, again, I've been going to sleep early. I get up 5:30-ish. First thing I do, check the scores from the night before. You know, the Sunday night game that I didn't watch last night, but very curious to see the outcome. Kansas City lost. That's what I was rooting for. One for the good guys. Futures, right? Woke up this morning, Bitcoin's up 2,000 points. You know, a lot happens while I'm sleeping. And I'm very curious as to what happened while I was sleeping. And that's the first thing that I do. I'm constantly being told how bad that is, that I'm like, it's like, what do they call it? Like a cheap dopamine hit or something like that. But like, I'm generally like, is that really so bad that first thing I do, check the futures, check the basketball score from the night before.
Different people are different. Different people are different. For you, it might be fine. Yeah. For other people, it becomes incredibly addicting. They get fused with their phone, and they get taken over by it. They become screen slavers.
Screen slavers.
Yeah, that's like an obscure reference to like The Incredibles. Like in The Incredibles 2. It was actually a great character in this movie. It was a throwaway movie, but it was an incredible character. All these people were like, fused to their phones and or fused to the screen. But there's a lot of people out there. But then there's other people who can just do fine, and it doesn't matter. Like you're a healthy guy, and you can do that. So, everybody's different. Everybody's a little bit different. And, so the key is to learn about yourself. Like everybody watching this right now, the key, rather than listening to me or listening to any guru, the key is to listen to yourself and to learn. So like if you go and you do something and then the next day you feel terrible, take note of that and be like, oh man, I drank last night. Now I feel like shit this morning. Maybe my body's telling me something. Like that's what you want to do. So if it doesn't bother you, you're thriving. I know you. You'll do this show, you'll go run hills, and then you go make a deal in the afternoon and have a glass of champagne. But that's you. You know what I mean?
That sounds about right. That's a good day of my life.
Sounds about right. Like that's you. Right. That's it's hilarious.
And I think too, doesn't it really depend on like what kind of stuff you're consuming when you're buried in your phone? I think that like there's ways you could really mess that up. Like, JC, you're not waking up in the morning checking Instagram.
I don't even use Instagram.
And
dude, you're not doom scrrolling, the political debates or whatever.
Right,
like
just
total.
I just wanted to make sure KC lost to Green Bay. I mean, I was hoping that happened. They did lose to Green Bay. I got a good one for you, Pearl Dog. Ready?
Yeah.
Power of Habits, great book, right? James Clear, excellent. One of the things he talks about, a lot of good things. One of the things
Atomic
he talks
Habits.
about is putting what did I say?
Power of Habits.
Sorry, Atomic Habits. Putting yourself in a position to succeed. So in other words, if you want to, hello, are you with me? So if we want to run more, get your sneakers and put them next to the door with your socks. Make it easier for you to just throw your sneakers on and go out. If you want to read more, keep books around by your bed, by your nights, by the couch. Put yourself in a position to be able to read more. Right? Am I on the?
Yeah.
I can hear you, but but I do appreciate the fact that you're having tech problems.
Good? Are we good?
Like I actually love that.
All right.
I had some problems coming in this morning. Now it's a tough day for
me.
I love it because he busts my balls about it.
So here's my point. So then Wednesday, we're going to the city. I'm giving a presentation at a bar, right? And we know what happens there, right? JC, there's charts and booze involved. I got out of control. So you know what I'm doing, Pearl Dog? I got a leg workout Thursday morning at 10:30. So if I get out of control Wednesday night, I'm going to hate myself on Thursday morning.
Great.
So you want to talk about temporal discounting and, making sacrifices for your future self, right? So Thursday morning, if I want to die, then I will drink a lot of whiskey on Wednesday night. But since I don't want to die, I won't. You see?
See, you are tuning into yourself, figuring out what works for you, and then creating an environment for yourself that is attuned to who you are. I freaking love that. I mean, that's beautiful. Listen,
I don't know.
I
It's a good one,
do I
right?
have to go already? Like, this is the quickest hit in freaking show business, right?
No, you
Yeah.
got you're here. What do you got? Talk to me.
Oh, okay.
Kick you out when it's your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know thyself, right? I mean, that's like what the old Greek, one of Aristophanes or Socrates or whoever, Plato, one of those guys said, know thyself. And that is where you're going. And that is what you're doing. And that is more important than what anybody else ever tells you to do, because you're only here one time and that time is limited. Plato, Biggles is all over everything, man. Like this dude, lunch is okay, Biggles, by the way. Like lunch is totally fine. Like if you're like, for example, if you're into having lunch, great. If you're not, okay. What works for you?
Pearl Dog, the smart money watches the show. I don't know if you've noticed in the chat, but this is the smart money. It's not the dumb money. The dumb money is watching basic cable. The smart money's here.
You know, the only guy, you guys should have him on, by the way. The only guy that I love on the CNBC is Michael Santoli, and just great guy, and he's a smart guy too. But he's the only guy that I turn the sound up for. Everybody else it goes back down.
What about when there's a technician on the TV?
Yeah, well, I mean, well, it depends who the technician is too. Here's what I noticed about technicians. There's two types of technicians. There's one type technician one, and this is what I love about you, JC. Type technician one looks at the charts and makes and derives information from them. And then there is another technician I call the Rorschach technician, who looks at the chart and projects whatever is already inside them onto the chart. Yeah. You have to be really careful about that, because a lot of technicians come on TV are confirming their own, whatever bias is already rolling around.
But some of the technicians, what do they call them? Chart masters or something like that. They're not even CMTs. Like they're like, you know what I mean? It's silly. And it's obvious in their work, right? We call those contrarian indicators, Pearl Dog.
It's obvious in their work, and they are contrarian indicators.
But also, remember how it works. And those of you who are not historians and don't understand the way media works, Pearl Dog's been in media, worked in media. I've done plenty. These television channels, they create characters. Like there was a guy back in the day, I used to think they used to call him like the commodities king or something like that. He wasn't anything. They literally made that up because it's like a character. So like they build up these characters for people who know nothing about investing and are new to this, and they think that this commodities king is actually someone to listen to, right? Like that, like they're characters. And that's how it works, by the way. And if you've been in media, you understand how it works. Most investors don't realize that. They literally build up characters because it's entertainment.
It's exactly true. And the producer's criteria for a successful host or guest is very different than who will provide the best information for you. It's really just, this will sell. This will sell Buicks and Captain Crunch cereal, or, Ozempic, or, whatever the pharmaceutical of the day is.
Gold bars, Pearl Dog. You got to buy the gold bars, the coin.
Gold bars.
The coin,
so gold bars. Gold really is doing something here. Is that really a thing? Gold is good. Gold is
just underperforming other assets. No big deal.
It's just underperforming.
Yeah.
Hey, so I want to make a plug.
High today. New 52-week high Bitcoin relative to gold today.
Bitcoin out of nowhere is like a champion again. Like,
up
listen,
all year,
I'm just going to go. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go now, and I'm just going to talk about how I'm long Bitcoin because it's doing well. Ha ha ha.
You're long Bitcoin because JC told you to buy it above 31 is why you're long Bitcoin, Pearl Dog.
No, I've just been long it for a long time. And I only get, and look, this is me. I'm just human. I get excited about it when it goes up like crazy. I'm more apt to talk about it. We're more apt to talk about it. When it's getting killed, I'm like, oh man, yeah. No, don't even want to mention it. Just put it under the mattress. What's that, Straz?
No, I was up from like 2:30 to 5 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I was just rifling through crypto charts because they look so good right now.
Is that healthy,
exciting
Pearlman, you think? Is that healthy?
You know, here's the funny thing about that.
I mean-
When you are involved with the markets for a long time and you watch these cycles happen over and over and over and over again, and you key into not whatever is happening in that moment, but you key into this process of the cycle and what happens at different parts of the cycle, and you're tuned to those things, you have great opportunity in those moments. And the example is this. Everybody's going to be like selling too soon on crypto. So let's say they got long at the perfect time. We have this tendency to sell too soon. But meanwhile, and to Straz's point, there's so much FOMO left. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people who aren't even aware of what happened over the weekend and that it's finally breaking out and that it's really going crazy. And then they're going to be, there's going to be people who are just getting FOMO at 60,000 or whatever. I mean, I don't know how far it's going to go, but
100,000, the animal spirits are really.
And that's when it's a sell to you, according to just the same process that plays out, whether it's internet stocks in the 90s, whether it's the home builders
Marijuana.
in the aughts, whether it's whatever it is, that same cycle plays out over and over again. Whether it's the ganja stocks, whatever happened to the ganja stocks? They ever come back?
You're so old. You're so old.
By criminals,
don't call it
right?
ganja. You know the kids don't call it ganja. Right?
They don't call it ganja anymore. I guess so. Like I don't know. What do I know? The Mary Jane. I'm in love with Mary Jane. She's my main thing. There's some old school for you right there.
That's a great song, though. Great song.
That's a classic.
Rick James.
Okay, so I have something I want to plug. Like I never plugged anything in my life, and it's so weird for me, but I really believe in it, so I'm into it. I'm running a workshop. I'm running a workshop series called Crushing 24 and Beyond. I was in miserable condition for many years. I drank too much, smoked too much pot, everything horrible. I was 50 pounds heavier, and I got myself really, really healthy. I got myself together. I'm in the best shape of my life. I run half marathons. I could do 15 pull-ups right now. I could walk off the stage and go do them. I feel great. I eat great. I sleep well. And what I want to do is I want to share from the Pearl Institute, which is a company I founded to help people get healthy and thrive. I'm having a workshop series. It's called Crushing 24 and Beyond. You could go to my Twitter right now and it's linked. And I think Spencer will link it somewhere. You could go there. It's a workshop series. It starts in December and then runs into January. So it by design is going on while New Year's is happening. Because what I want people to do is I want people to start getting healthy in January and February and not get injured and not fade and not get, tired and be back on the couch by March. I want them to follow through and really get themselves healthy so that it follows through and so that they're continuing to compound their health into 25 and beyond.
Awesome.
There it is. Thank you for posting that, by the way.
The link is on the screen. It's also in the chat. So check it out. And yeah, I think the three of us can all attest to Phil's, knowledge, motivation, just general helpfulness with regards to just living a healthier life.
Yes.
So
Phil's the guy for this. Phil's the right guy.
Phil is the guy. Phil is the guy. Phil.
But when it comes to advice about traveling, don't listen to him at all.
How about your advice?
Get on a plane.
Please.
Get on a plane. Meet people from different cultures.
You
Eat
know
their
how you
food.
feel.
Ask them questions. Learn, and then come back, and then get your massage, and then go for your run, and share your knowledge of what you learned overseas with your compadres. Sorry, Phil.
That's great. That's great for you. Yeah. No, that works. I got no problem with it.
Sure, fine.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think that's the solution for the airlines. Get more expensive, and the reeks and wrecks. If you can't afford first class, you shouldn't be traveling anyway.
Rich people only for flying.
Yeah, JC, you could afford first class, right?
I only fly first class. If But if I
There you
can get it
go.
first, I won't
Exactly.
go.
That's my
I won't go.
point. So you enjoy traveling.
go.
It's great for you.
Yeah,
You're
but I
gonna-
used to do that when I couldn't afford first class, by the way.
Oh, it was like this, right? It was like, oh,
That's
It's
life.
tough.
It made me want to work harder so I can afford being more comfortable, actually.
appreciate that. I
There
appreciate
you
that.
go. All right.
All right, guys.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
So I'm out of here. Woo!
Adios.
All right.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, Phil, one of the most motivating people that I know personally. So,
And everybody, Phil knows everybody. You know, anybody who he needs to know anyway. You know, and we've introduced him to a lot of technicians over the years. So he's friends. He's a friend of ours. You know,
sure.
Friend of ours. Friend of mine.
No,
friend of
and
ours.
no, the point about the compounding, honestly, is it's so true. Like it's hard to see a difference when you are investing for, like, I'm talking about long-term investing for like 2 months, right? It's hard. You don't see a difference doing that, right? You see a difference doing it for 10 years, right? That's when you see the difference, right? And being healthy is the same exact way, right? So, and Phil taught me that. So,
And I'm glad we brought that point up about the characters on the TV and how it works. A lot of people don't understand how that works. They actually think that, whatever nickname they give them on the basic cable is like a well-deserved nickname, but it's actually, some short, punchy producer in the background, right? That goes out a lot in Midtown Manhattan making these things up successfully, I might add, because people are gullible enough to actually believe that. Somebody said something about Josh Brown. Is he a character? Josh Brown's the CEO of a $4 billion RIA.
I think he would tell you he is a character on CNBC, and he's the best goddamn one.
He'll tell you because he's funny, and that's actually hilarious. But the truth is, he's actually the CEO of a $4 billion RIA. And I know a lot of people that work at that firm, and it's a great company. They're my financial advisors.
wait,
and I'm very happy with them.
Are you saying he's not downtown?
He has a real job when he leaves CNBC, unlike
right. You see, a lot of these characters, they don't have real jobs, right? Going on TV is their job, which is silly, right? So he actually does have a real job.
Anyway, and Nigerian's not on anymore, so
I like John Nigerian. I've met Pete a few times. I like John.
What? He's not. I haven't watched CNBC in a while. He's not on.
John's a great skier, by the way. Great skier. Shout out John Nigerian. He's a better skier than me, and it's frustrating because he's old as shit. He doesn't look that old, but he's in his 60s, man. He's a better skier than me. He's like a lot better skier than me, actually.
Sign up for Pearlman's class. Do better.
There you go. Just don't fly to ski, because that would, or JC can fly to ski. The rest of us will have to ski locally. All right, should we do some news?
You don't want to ski on the East Coast. That's no good.
I mean, you could do a lot worse in Vermont.
The only people that ski on the East Coast are the people who haven't discovered the West Coast yet.
All right,
I used to be one of those people.
That's true.
I used to be one of those people.
All right, couple news items quick, and what's up, Steve?
No, enough with this. I don't like this conversation.
All right, moving on.
About skiing?
By the way, tis the year. This is the year I'm gonna take my wife skiing. She's never skied in her life. She's gonna divorce
Don't ski on the East Coast, or she's never want to go skiing again.
We're gonna end up getting divorced. I can call it now. Anyway, let's move on. We'll talk about
fly direct to Utah.
More bad travel advice from JC. Just more bad travel advice. For some people like Spencer, who I know, growing up nearby where Spencer lives now, it's far more practical for him to go skiing in the East Coast. He could drive up there, be there in a day. You're telling him to get on to it.
But it's his wife's first time. It's gonna be freezing. There's gonna be no snow. There's gonna be too many people from Long Island wearing jeans. And she's gonna hate it.
Nah, take her on the bunny hills of Jersey. It'll be good. All right.
She's never gonna want to do it again.
Well, that's true regardless, JC. All right.
She's gonna be like, "Oh, this is sick."
Okay, a couple news items quick, and then we'll do some hot corner or whatever. So we mentioned Uber joining the S&P 500. Uber, Jabil Circuits, and Builders First Source (BLDR). Those are the three new members of the index. Solar Edge, Sealed Air, which you mentioned, and Alaska are out. Spotify doing its third layoff of the last, I think, 12 months. They're now laying off another 17% of their workforce. So that was leading the way this morning. Wall Street layoffs. Wall Street hates it when you buy a company, and they're lucky when you lay your employees off. So
that's right, because employees, contrary to popular belief, the employees are not the priority. The shareholders are the priority. Don't forget that.
The stock looks great. Spotify. It's really good. That's a breakaway.
I don't know if we have. I guess we don't have a chart for that. That's okay. And what else was on my list as far as news goes? That may have been it.
So Uber also
the merger talked about.
Uber big upgrade too. They're just like piling on the positive news here today. $75 new price target. I think it was Oppenheimer. Some of these online retailers just continue.
I believe you. I forgot about you guys don't care about Virgin Galactic. You guys don't care about that, no.
Why would we care? I care.
Branson has no more money.
What?
Yeah,
Richard Branson's
because Richard Branson, Richard Branson, who sold his stake in this company, like 12 months ago? Maybe it was this year. I don't remember anymore. He's like not buying back in, and so that was like the last chance for this company because the stock is a penny stock, like a literal penny stock. So.
And I don't know, guys, if I could just play tiebreaker on the China discussion at the top of the show, JC, would you like to revise your answer?
About what?
China's working.
I mean, some China stocks are working. Very few. The education companies are working. Is there anything else in China working?
FXI, so that's the FTSE China 25, biggest 25, new 52-week lows. Moving.
Thank you.
In the complete opposite direction of most risk assets, which is a thing, JC, correct me if I'm wrong, that China tends to do.
By the way, an EMX China making new multi-month highs. Really reiterating that weakness in China.
Yeah. That looks like a nice base, a nice reversal pattern shaping up in that index. China really just absolutely destroying the emerging market index this year because it looks pretty good when you take them out. Yeah.
The yuan acting well though, right? Yuan making 6-month highs basically. Something to keep in mind. So you're seeing that strength in emerging market currencies, even in yuan. So it's not just the zloty. I know a lot of zloty fans out there. It's not just the zloty. It's not just the Mexican peso. I've got something to say.
Yeah.
I was talking to my mom over the weekend, and my mom worked at Televisa for a long time, which used to be this giant Mexican, media conglomerate, and then these idiots just burned it to the ground. And I would get the inside story from my mother who worked there, and she would tell me what all these idiots were doing. I think before the Mexicans bought it, it was actually pretty good, and then the Mexicans bought it and destroyed it. So I was explaining to my mother how the stock's down 95%. I'm like, Mom, she works for Condé Nast now. I'm like, Mom, you following on what's going on with Televisa? She's like, I haven't followed at all. What's going on? I was like, well, other than the fact that shareholders have lost 95% of all of their money. There's like manipulation in the stock last week and, all kinds of shady shenanigans going on. And she's like, oh, I can imagine that. She's explaining to me how they're all tied with the Mexican government and all this stuff. And my mother, considering who her son is, just telling me, so how do the investors get their money back? I'm like, Ma, it's gone. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, Mom, all those shareholders, all those people that you knew back in the day that had all this stock lost everything. And they're not getting it back. I mean, they could potentially, but it's gone. She's like, but only if they sell, right? No, Mom, it's gone. Like she had a hard time like wrapping her head around all of that money.
Well, I mean, technically, she's not wrong. It's not a loss until you sell.
No, that's dumb, Spencer. It's a loss, even if you don't sell. It's actually worse if you don't sell because you're stuck in it instead of doing something else with that money. So, Spencer,
that's right.
We are all now dumber after that comment of yours.
There we go.
Yes, it is a loss. Whether you
I look at a chart like this,
Televisa,
yeah, and wonder what is still going on there that's worth $8 billion, right? Like when the stock's down 98%, you got to ask yourself, why not 100? That becomes the right question to ask. Something's in this bad of a downtrend.
Legacy brands, there's something to be said about some of that, probably, right? you know,
So they have brand assets.
Yeah.
maybe, you know. But yeah, these Mexicans destroyed this company. I was getting the inside scoop on a day-to-day basis, you know.
Must have been pretty big at one point, like close to $100 billion company.
It was a huge company. My mom worked there for most of my life. Yeah.
So we're talking about
Stupid.
ticker
All right.
symbol TV.
It's TV, Televisa.
Follow
Yeah.
along at home.
I can't speak to this company, but I used to live around the corner from the old CNBC, now current Telemundo studios. In
Ooh. Do you watch a lot of
Portland, New
Telemundo, Spencer?
No. I don't. I don't have cable, so I don't really watch any TV for the cable TV for that matter. But all right.
Well, nobody
Hot corner.
nobody has cable. But
Yeah.
you can still watch stuff.
That's
Nothing
true.
there. Tonight.
Nothing in the hot corner. I saw there was like 3 things, right?
There was
No,
nothing. There was a
quiet.
penny stock. Nothing.
Really empty
Yeah.
list. So let's just we'll cover them tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll cover them tomorrow. I mean, you know, you see, by the way, a lot of Monday hot corners are a little quieter.
Yeah.
You know,
Based
why
on-
don't you hit the chart report?
We can do that.
I love the quote, by the way, from Friday's chart report. There's no such thing as simple. Simple is hard.
Pat.
Martin Scorsese. It's a good one.
Really? Yeah. Pat does such a great job with the quotes.
Yeah.
He has a file, thousands of rows deep in Excel with just like the best quotes that he just kind of sifts through and picks them. But my point is, there's a monster quote archive behind this. It's a pretty cool file to look through, actually.
I've actually looked through it recently. It actually is really good. It's
Great.
old ones and ones that he hasn't used yet. Can we scroll down to Jeff DeGraff's chart here? I think it's an important point. A lot of people talking about the year-end rally, Santa Claus rally being like front run.
Yeah. What's he saying?
Jeff DeGraff puts that to bed. He says historically, this is Renmac. Spencer, are you
Wait.
having a hard time
Oh,
finding it?
sorry. Yes, I went right past it. Okay.
Historically, December is better for S&P 500 returns than November on average. There's also no evidence that a strong November pulls return from December. And also the December returns tend to be a lot stronger when the S&P 500 is above its 200-day moving average. He didn't say that. I'm saying that. But actually, I think it was Ari Wald, his report over the weekend, had that study that when as strong as December is historically, which is one of the strongest months, it's even stronger, more than twice as strong historically when the S&P 500 is in a bull market, which I don't know if you heard.
We're there.
How do you feel about that?
I'm just making some trades over here, letting you guys kind of take this.
I had good news for my wife this morning when I saw Bitcoin up $2,000. I told her that we have officially gotten our new pool for free because
Hey.
I don't know about women in general. I don't want to make assumptions, but in my experience, in my life, the women in my life are worry warts. They worry a lot. They're they're nervous Nellies, if you will. And we have money to buy a pool. My wife pretends like we don't. But the fact that I was able to tell her that we got a free pool made her very happy this morning. So thank you, Bitcoin. Thank you, Steve Strazza, for pounding the table so many times on Coinbase. Thank you, everybody, for all the support and love. We're not at the beach house. We're not at beach house levels yet, Ravi. Working on it, baby. Working on it.
Beach house next.
The problem is that where I want a beach house is like the most expensive place, like Avalon and Stone Harbor. The prices are ridiculous, and I don't want a mortgage. I want to buy it cash.
No, you'll get there. You think you get there this bull market or next one?
I'm hoping it's this one, Strazza. I'm hoping it's this one. Okay. I'm hoping it's this one. We'll see what happens. We'll see how I do. We're getting there. We're working on it. And then, yes, I am working on a Bitcoin miner to heat my pool. I am actually working on that as well. That's more of a fun project.
It's a crazy
What?
idea. If you can actually do that, I mean, wow, how
Not
neat.
crazy. It's not crazy. It's crazy not to.
Believe it when I see it. It sounds insane.
It's not insane. And you flip a switch. So if you want to like use the regular heater, you can. And if you want to flip it so that the Bitcoin miner heats it, you could do that. So it's not like I'm dependent on this mining heat. You know what I mean?
That was going to be my next question. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry. Don't worry, Strazza. I appreciate the
about you.
concern, though. I know.
I can be a nervous Nelly too.
I know. You are sometimes, actually.
I'm not getting filled here. I'll be right back, guys.
Beach house is also my dream. I'm a little further away from JC than JC from achieving that. But
If I was
that's
less bougie,
retiring.
if I was less bougie and would want a house in a less nice part of the beach, I would have one already. But the problem is,
dude, the whole shore is bougie. What are you talking? Buying a house,
dude,
like
you can buy.
unless you're going away.
You could buy a sick house somewhere for $1 million and change. Where I want a house is 7 or 8 minimum. Minimum.
All right.
So
All right,
cash,
fine.
that's a little tough to swallow, and I don't want a mortgage. So
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the markets here, JC. We are pretty mixed. Looks like I see some red. I see some green.
I see what you did there. We have not done a futures rundown, so why don't we go ahead and do that? We need a bumper for the futures rundown.
Yeah. Okay.
Answer is real. So Dow futures down 60 points right now. S&P futures down 26 points, about 50 basis points. NASDAQ 100 down 1% today. 30-year bond futures down 40 basis points. Gold down 1%. Silver down 2%. Copper down 2%. Oil down 1%. Dollar inching higher with volatility slightly higher as well. Volatility index all the way up to 13.5. And the U.S. 10-year yield up to 4.26%. And of course, you can't have a futures rundown without talking about Bitcoin prices currently up 1,625 points, up towards 41,600, breaking that 40,000 level. Ethereum also up 1.3%. Yesterday, I cheated. I tweeted out, I go, by the way, guys, Bitcoin's at 40,000. It was not at 40,000 yet. It was like a couple hundred points away. So I kind of front ran that. You saw what I did there? Front ran. Because I was basically 40,000, you know.
Well, the futures may have been.
And I appreciate Troy says JC forgot to thank the most important people, the counterparties whose money we're spending. That's exactly right. Thank you, Wall Street strategists, for telling everybody coming into the year that we're going to have a down year when it's actually been one of the greatest years in market history. Thanks, guys.
Rachel just called me a Jewish grandma.
What?
Yeah, you're like a yenta.
She did.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you even know that word, JC?
Because I converted to Judaism after I graduated college and started working on Wall Street.
That's right. That's right. I always forget.
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside, get a good schwitz, right?
That's not. Yeah, these words are all Yiddish, by the way. But
yes. Yeah. What are you? What do you think I'm a schmuck? Come on, huh?
All right. She was about to say. Oh, can we talk about gold for a second? Just like sort of blow off.
Yeah.
What?
Sure.
What?
What?
Yeah,
like which grandmas don't like gold?
Blow off candle?
Okay, fine. Yeah, let's talk about that. Good.
Yes.
At like a very logical level, huh? A very logical level to get stuffed here. And this would be the first sign of that. A candle that closes looking anything like this looks right now. Yuck. Oh my. Back in the box for gold continues to frustrate people and wear investors down.
Let them dance. The market just opened. Let them dance.
The endless conversation about gold already is how I know gold is not ready. Okay, everybody, gold. Look around, people. There are things that are really working in this environment, and some charts that look awesome that you should want to own. You know, across time frames. Gold is not one of them yet. Not one of them. Neither is energy. What?
Higher gold prices is not bad for stocks. Higher gold prices is not bad for stocks. By the way, lower prices is not necessarily good for stocks, right? It's like this other thing. It's fine. They can go up together. They can go down together. One can go up, one can go down. So we want to treat it in isolation, number one. Number two, in a portfolio where you're looking for opportunities that are not correlated with one another, and if you want true diversification, those are the types of strategies you want to incorporate. Gold just closed at an all-time high on a monthly closing basis, on a weekly closing basis. Did
Yeah,
it
I
do it
thought
on
that
a
was
daily
bullish.
closing basis? I don't know. Yes, Strazza is absolutely right. There are better, stronger assets. In fact, Bitcoin is making new 52-week highs relative to gold as we speak. So yes, there are stronger assets, but it doesn't mean that gold is not strong, Strazza. There's opportunity there.
No, I think we're almost literally doing a disservice at this point coming on. And I'm a little bit frustrated because I got to do the gold video today. Our friend Ian Coley is out. So I'm already have to talk about gold. I really don't want to. I think we're almost doing a disservice talking about gold so much. Let's talk about the stuff that is really working and that people should be in.
Gold just made new highs.
Oh, God.
First of all, why are you talking about what people should be in? Everybody's different. Everybody has different objectives. So to blanket, people should be doing this.
Things that are trending, not something that's trendless like gold.
It's not trendless. It just closed at the highest levels on a weekly and monthly closing basis. By the way, gold has already, for the record, gold has already been making new highs for a while, priced in other currencies. It was just priced in the dollar because of the dollar strength that gold had not made new highs, and now it is. But globally, and you think like a white American male from Connecticut.
Nothing to do with it.
As opposed to thinking globally, and most investors around the world have been making money long gold in their currencies.
This breakout that you have drawn so beautifully here is failing miserably as we speak.
Okay, great.
Very different in days.
I guess we'll see what happens. The market literally just opened 18 minutes ago for the week.
Not the futures market.
When I am excited,
dance.
When I am excited about gold, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to this thing called First Majestic, ticker symbol AG. I'm going to buy up all the out of money calls I can, and then I'm going to ignore it for a couple of weeks, and they'll either be up 10x or it'll be a 0. That's how I plan to play gold when the time comes.
That AG is looking pretty good, huh?
Coming off a big level there too.
Yeah, that AG looking pretty good. Yeah, not the strongest.
Nope,
not the strongest, but like Strazza said, coming off a key level.
Never the strongest, but this one's been around forever. It's like there are worse things in markets, right? I have my vehicles, like my little buddies that I know, okay, when this group's working, I'm going right here. You know the way they trade, you know the character of these assets, right? I know with AG, I could wake up, it could be up or down 15% in a given day. That's fine, right? I know what I'm getting into. I know what I'm trading. I've been there before. And I think there's something to be said for that, right? Having your little like go-to vehicles that you understand. And I think you can mess up so many things, right? The last thing you want to do is pick a vehicle that maybe you're unfamiliar with and trades in a way that, you know, you're not used to. And then it ruins your thesis and gets you out of a trade that maybe you shouldn't have been out of, right? So stick with the vehicles you know, trade the stocks you know that you've traded before. I think that's good advice.
No, I think it's terrible advice. I would keep an open mind. I would look for new vehicles to express a given thesis. I would look for relative strength. I would go out of your way to develop scans to help identify winning stocks that you wouldn't normally look at. And we do all those things. So you're contradicting the shit out of yourself, Strazza.
I do.
Are we constantly building scans to help find stocks that we wouldn't normally be finding?
I'm looking through a deck this morning of 100 different gold stocks. So yeah,
what are you talking about?
But I'm still going to trade the ones that I'm most comfortable with.
That's dumb. Listen, terrible advice. Between Strazza and Pearlman, two people who I love and normally give great advice, are just, you guys just are terrible today. Both of you.
I own a tiny bit of Alamos too, full disclosure. Not excited.
Right. We had a good question from the chat at the top of the show. I want to get to that, and then we'll do some recess, all right?
Cool.
What are we doing? Question from the chat?
Chat.
Yeah.
We don't use enough. We don't use that bumper enough. Okay. From Chef Aaron Arditi. I wonder if he's actually a chef. Would you guys say that we just went through the first wave up according to Dow theory? Can you guys touch on this?
I don't know what the first wave is in Dow theory.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at Dow theory.
Yeah.
I've read I don't know 100 Dow theory letters from the late 1800s. I used to wake up every morning and read a Dow theory letter from the late 1800s. Nerd alert.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever mentioned the word waves.
That's not a tenet or
That's
anything.
not a tenet. That's not a tenet that I'm familiar with, and I'm pretty good at Dow theory. So I don't know what that means.
Shows what I know. All right, there. I hope that answers your question, Aaron.
Wow.
Or did he? Because the answer is doesn't apply.
Do you guys? Hey guys, stop. And then I have a confession to make that JC is going to love. But first, do you both own enough uranium stocks at this point? Like, are we?
When a trade works, you don't own enough. When a trade doesn't work, you own too much. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean,
I definitely don't.
Because they're working really well out here.
Does anybody own enough uranium in hindsight?
So,
and we were pounding the table. I was pounding the table myself. I bought some. Great. Obviously, I didn't own enough. Obviously.
You know, you zoom out on some of these charts, though, and these bases are just so big. I really still think this is early innings of a new secular trend. A very, very long-term uptrend for these stocks. Charts look amazing. All right, I'll get to my confession first here.
You want to?
The Dolphins are really good. Dolphins are really good. I mean, they're really good.
Why? Because they beat a high school team this weekend?
The offense, I was sitting there watching the game yesterday. I said, you know, I got to say, it's one of the better offenses I've ever seen.
Strazza, the denominator fallacy here, it's the worst defense in the league.
Dude, fine. You dropped 60, 70 points on the Broncos earlier this year. When they're working, when the team is working, I mean, that offense is crazy. Tyreek Hill's too fast. There's just weapons everywhere. They got two great backs. Waddell's really good too. When he's actually throwing the ball well, not making mistakes, they might be tough to beat.
Strazza, when you have all day to throw and nobody to cover your receivers, it's easy to do well, by the way. Your denominator fallacy right now is just very bad.
Right. So if you played like the 49ers, they would absolutely whoop you with that defensive line. It'd be very different.
I think it would be a better matchup than the Washington Redskins or whatever these idiots call themselves these days.
Not terrible, though. Are they really the league's worst defense?
Yes, I looked it up afterwards because I was hoping that they weren't as bad as I thought, but they were the worst defense in the league.
Yeah.
Like in yards allowed, points, like everything. They suck.
Because it looked like one of those like early in the season college football games where teams aren't playing teams that they should really be playing. Every pass is just a touchdown.
Yeah, it's like Alabama versus like Eastern Carolina.
Yeah.
What you're saying is Miami should have paid Washington for the privilege of kicking their ass. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep, that's right.
All right. I guess we're doing a recess now.
Yeah, hit the bumper.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll the thing.
Oh, did I?
So the Miami Hurricanes are playing Rutgers in Yankee Stadium in the Pinstripe Bowl.
I sent you the thing. Did you see what I sent you? You should go to the game.
I'm going. Let me finish.
Oh, okay, great.
So, thanks, Strazza. One of my buddies,
New Year's Day.
One of my buddies is defensive end for Rutgers, and he said, we're putting together a party bus from New Brunswick into the city round trip. Wives are invited, children are not.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. So I just wanted to share that.
All right, so you're going. Good.
Yeah, hell yeah, I'm going.
This is December 28th.
Yeah, December 28th.
It's like the crazy lawnmower bowl. What is it?
It's the Pinstripe Bowl.
It's something before. It's like
mowers. Oh, maybe whoever the sponsor is, the Wheelon.
The bad boy mowers.
Yes. I think that's it. Bad boy.
Best one is the Idaho potato
bad boy
bowl.
mowers.
That would always got a chuckle out of that one.
So guys, what do you think about this whole big controversy down here, big drama in Florida for Florida football?
What happened?
Florida State got screwed out of the playoff. Okay, so I think this is
they didn't get screwed out of it. How did they get screwed?
Because they were undefeated, and Alabama had one.
Which is one of the reasons. It's equally weighted, by the way. It's not cap weighted.
I'm just asking, are you trying to pick, as the selection committee, the team with the best or most impressive resume or the best 4 teams? Because those are not always the same thing. Like,
First
what is
of
their
all,
job?
it's like
Okay.
8 or 9. It's 8 or 9 different things, and one of them is, did the team lose a key player for the playoffs? And
Yes,
Florida
they
State
lost Florida.
did.
Okay, fine.
Right. So because that is one of the requirements, and it's as important as winning the conference, they got booted out. But now you could say that the rules are stupid, and that I agree with. But they followed the rules, and it should have been Alabama, not Florida State.
All right. Listen, I'm all for putting the best team in. It stinks to win a Power 5 conference, go undefeated, and then get disincluded from something like this. That's a huge bummer for the kids on this team.
Let me take you back to the year. Let me take you back to the year 2000, young Strazza.
I knew this was coming. I had
when in the year 2000, when the University of Miami beat Florida State, and they went into it was just 2 teams back then, and the committee chose Florida State over Miami because Florida State lost to the better team, because Miami lost to Washington. So Florida State lost to the better team. So because Miami was so good,
that's terrible,
and beat Florida State, Florida State went. And of course, if you recall, Florida State sucked, didn't even show up against Oklahoma, and Miami, who is arguably the greatest college football team in history, would have smoked Oklahoma and won back-to-back championships. So you know what, Florida State? I don't give a damn. Screw you.
I think Alabama whoops Michigan and wins this whole thing.
I saw a video.
Unfortunately, you're probably right.
I saw a video there of the Michigan contingent reaction to find out they were playing Bama, and you could just kind of you could just feel there was like some very lackluster, like, hey, all right, but their heart wasn't in it, because deep down they're like, ah, shit.
The whole country will be rooting for Michigan, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because everybody hates Alabama.
No, people hate Michigan too.
I know, but I think they hate Alabama more. To your point, Spencer, people do hate Michigan, but at this time, the whole country will be rooting for Michigan. I will be.
Do you think it's true, like this thing about the SEC and Big Ten, and it's just different kind of competition in these 2 conferences?
The ACC had a winning record against the SEC this year, 6-4.
Yeah, but in the big games, yeah, maybe, Steve, maybe. Honestly, I mean, Ohio State's the exception to the rule, but everyone else seems to be unable to compete with these southeastern teams. So I don't know.
They're big, they're fast.
Yeah, right.
All right, my recess is, for the first time ever in my life, I went into a Container Store. You guys ever been to the Container Store?
I went to one of those once. They have a lot of
really cool.
Yeah, it's got the stupidest name ever. I was like, why would I ever go to a place that sells containers? That's honestly what I thought. No, they got a lot of good shit there. like a ton of good organizers, like things for your closet, and like drawers for your office, and it's bougie, man. I was like, damn.
Spencer sounds like a first grandmother. Right?
What? Spencer's really like finding his own. You know, doing all these things around the home lately.
Spencer's adulting. He's adulting,
dude. Well, you know what? But you know what it is, though. It's moving from an apartment to a house is almost like a culture shock. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had to worry about like my driveway. I never had a driveway as an adult.
Yeah.
I have a yard. I have to worry about these things. Like, it is a culture shock.
Your garbage down a hole that goes to
I've always just thrown my garbage down a hole, like in a dumpster. Like, now I have to, like,
you know what?
Like,
I used to get scared. Because I lived in New York City for a long time, which is like the safest place ever, contrary to popular belief. It's actually very safe. Okay. The only way that you could break into my apartment is like to be Spider-Man and climb up the wall. So you're very safe. Nothing's going to get you. But then I moved to Sonoma, also very safe, by the way. It was very scary at first because there's like multiple doors and ways to get into the house. And like, I was just not comfortable with that, like, at first. And like, I was a little bit nervous. This is like 2015 when I moved to California, and it was like this whole new thing. It was a little bit scary. I got over it like in a week, but at first it was hard to get used to, you know?
I get it.
Yeah. It's just very different to have to think about, oh, did I take the recycling out? Not like, oh, like I should do it I should just go
Shove it
downstairs
in the shove it in the thing.
Right.
It's like no glass,
Exactly.
no glass bottles, please, and you're just throwing wine bottles down the thing.
The snow.
Yeah.
That's another time you're going to remember that you no longer live in an apartment. For snow.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I'm prepared. Not that we got no snow last year, but I'm prepared
This year,
for the
boy,
snow
it's
now.
coming.
Yeah. All right. That'll be our show today. Thanks to Phil for joining us. As always, please like us and follow us everywhere you go. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. We appreciate that. Stay tuned for the Flow Show with Strazza and Sean coming up next. That'll be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So right here on Stock Market TV. Stay tuned for that. And that's it. That's all I got. Go make some money. Have a good day. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go